Hello again, everybody! Zach Attack is here with my WWE WrestleMania 29 review tonight. Of course, live from the MetLife Stadium in New York City. Probably one of the first WrestleMania outdoors entering the cold. My thoughts on this WrestleMania. Well, we all knew that this Mania had lack of hype, and unfortunately lived up to that lack of hype. The first hour and a half, of course, the one match that everybody, including myself, knew was going to be the match of the night, indeed, was the match of the night. Basically, single-handedly almost saved Mania. Main event, we knew what it was. We knew the ending, kind of, but it was kind of exciting anyway, despite the predictable ending of the main event this evening. Kind of a mixed bag tonight, and there was a lot of things that WWE could have done tonight and should have done. You know, and I'll tell you what they should have done and what they didn't do. Being WWE, they didn't want to do anything shocking. Mania rating, 6.0 out of 10. It was a top rating. I think I gave last year's Mania 7.0, I think, last year. There was at least 3 good matches in Mania. The 3 main matches, one was great, one was a little too long, and the other match, the main event, was predictable but decent. Not bad, not as good as last year, though. Let's get on with the pay-per-view. I missed the pregame match. I wasn't able to see the pre-show. Usually I do, but I didn't this time around. Miz became the new Intercontinental Champion tonight, beating Wade Barrett. I'm mad that it was on the pre-show. Yet, the match that got on the card over the Intercontinental Championship match didn't take place tonight. The mixed tag match got cut from the card tonight. Probably due to Triple H and Lesnar going a little bit over than I thought it was going to be. I think it was longer than expected. But taking out the Divas match, the mixed tag match, it doesn't take over. It doesn't forgive us from taking the IC title match from the get-go. It doesn't redeem you from taking out the IC title match from the get-go. You know what I mean? It doesn't make up for it. You know, he took the mixed tag match, but doesn't make up for the IC title match being not on the card at all. And did he? God, bitch, did he? You can tell me bitch did he didn't get booed, but Donald Trump did during the Hall of Fame. Bullshit. WWE crowd. The crowd was decent, though, especially in the main event. And, of course, Taker Punk. But like I said, Miz got the IC Championship. Matter was on the pregame show, especially, like I said, since the match that... Especially since the mixed tag match wasn't on the card. Maybe it'd be on Watermark. That's what I'm thinking. Mixed tag match between World Scholars and Bellatrix and Funkadactyls and Sweet Tea and Protest. Tons of funk. I bet you they'll be on Watermark night. Now onto the main card. Kicking off with, well, I read many sources were saying that the tag team title match was going to be first. Or it wasn't. The 6-man tag kicked it off. It was the Shield. Of course, Seth Rollins. Roman Reigns, and Dean Ambrose taking on Sheamus, Big Show, and Randy Orton. Now I thought Sheamus was going to turn here tonight. I think the WWE should have done to make it at least exciting, but of course, knowing WWE doesn't want to do anything close to unpredictably exciting, didn't. Instead, it was all focused on the Big Show. Big Show is, of course, the odd man out. Of course, we've been seeing for weeks about Randy Orton and Sheamus and the storyline not trusting Big Show. Well, Orton and Sheamus kept tagging each other in. Big Show blind tagging himself in. Of course, the last straw, basically the straw that broke the camel's back, was one of the last moments of the match, the last 10 minutes or so. The Shield really worked together as a team. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of the storyline, but they really worked well as a team tonight with the double team moves. But there was some decent spots on his okay opener. Big Show spearing the hell out of the Shield as they were trying to triple powerbomb Sheamus. And the horse that broke the camel's back was when Sheamus was going to tag in Big Show, but Orton decided to tag himself in. And Big Show, of course, felt like the odd man out. Orton came like a house of fire after Sheamus came like a house of fire after the Shield dominated the later half of the match after a rousing, enthusiastic start by the face team, despite not taking in the Big Show. Of course, the ending came following the RKO An ambush from Orton. And of course got speared by Roman Reigns. And a 1-2-3 victory for the Shield. Of course, Big Show was angry at Orton for not tagging him in. And Big Show knocked out Orton and knocked out Sheamus after the match. So someone turned heel, kind of, but not Orton or Sheamus. It was Big Show. Wait. 2.5/5, decent match. The Kickoff Mania. It was okay opener, but so there you go. Big Show turns heel, kind of, but he was already heel going into it, but he's still heel. In order to Sheamus, none of them turned heel. Like I've said many times, oh, never gonna turn heel. I doubt it now. That really doesn't have the balls to, like I've said many times. Now, on our next match, which was Ryback against Mark Henry. It was a match I expected to be slow and boring and dull. They were just gonna do punching, kicking, and shoving. That was the entire match. You know what I mean? The match was kind of lackluster at best. You know, it was. The ending was kind of cool. The ending was kind of exciting. I liked the way it ended, but the match itself is kind of lackluster. You know, they just moved around slow. You know, they're just big heavyweights. They don't do any high flying. They just stand there, just punch each other, and try to throw each other around. It was just kind of the boring match I thought it was going to be. You know, kind of a slow matchup, but the ending came as Ryback tried many times to slam Mark Henry, but was failing every time. But Ryback finally got the shell shock attempt on him after the meat hook. And he had Mark Henry up. He had Mark Henry up for the shell shock. But just as he was about to slam him with the shell shock, Mark Henry powered out of it and dropped his weight all over Ryback. And the 1, 2, 3 for Mark Henry getting the victory on Ryback. Right. But the match wasn't kind of done yet after the match officially ended. Mark Henry delivered the world's strongest slam on Ryback, but Ryback got back up and finally did get to nail the shell shock. Yes, Ryback got the shell shock Mark Henry, but not when it mattered, not when it counted during the match. So Ryback gets a moral victory from doing that, but in the end, Mark Henry gets the victory. I'll get this match a 1.8 out of 1.7 actually, 1.7 out of 5. It was just lost a boring match. You know, it's nothing special. It's just some good moments in there with that ending, and of course, shell shock on Mark Henry after the match, but nothing special. This match was kind of boring at best. Now, next match, the WWE Tag Team Championships. It was, of course, Team Hell No, taking on Big E and Ziggy. Of course, Big E Langston making his in-ring debut, and Dolph Ziggler. Now, Big E Langston making his in-ring debut tonight. He was okay at best. You know, we'll see how he does in the ring in singles competition finally. But let's see if Big E does a singles match after this. This is his first match, but he hasn't done a singles match yet on television or on pay-per-view for this matter. And the match was okay. Daniel Bryan and Kane had a great athletic start, but I think Ziggy and Big E got right back at it in the game with, of course, Big E throwing his weight around, literally beating the crap out of Kane and Daniel Bryan for most of the matchup, getting momentum. And even a stretching in the end to try to get a distraction. Of course, the ending came with that distraction with AJ distracting the referee. And Ziggy was trying to nail King with the Money in the Bank briefcase. I'll get to whether or not he was going to cash that case or not later on tonight. But Ziggy missed Kane. Kane got the choke slam on Dolph Ziggler. Tagged in D-Bry. Got the flying move at the top splash. 1, 2, 3. Team Hell No retained the championship. I could have knew that Team Hell No were going to retain the titles tonight. You know, I don't think Ziggy and Big E are ready to be tag champions. Ziggy's better prepared to be world champion. Although we would see about that later on. So there you go. But Big E in his big ring, he did some okay moves, but nothing special. You know, he was not that. And he was okay when it comes to his debut. You didn't see much of his athletic moves, but indeed we'll see if Big E has a lot more to offer. He's more like people are more comparing him to Ahmed Johnson, not being at or Bobby Lashley. But we'll see what happens with Big E later on. But so there you go. Daniel Bryan and Kane retain the titles. I'll give the match a 2.0 out of 5. I gave Orton and Sheamus' match 2.2 because at least it was exciting, but this match was just okay, 2.2. Now, I mentioned, of course, Big E Langston made his in-ring debut tonight. Speaking of people, finally, making their in-ring debut, we have Fandango finally making his debut, finally wrestling against Chris Jericho. Now, the match itself, missed most of it, but it was okay from what I saw. Fandango, he looked okay in the ring, you know, it looked special, just some flimsy moves, you know, it's just okay wrestling ability. You know, he's a decent actor and all, but at least we finally get to see Fandango wrestle tonight, but I don't think no one cares if he wrestles or not. The character's dead, you know what I mean? He wasted this much time to finally wrestle, like, people are starting not to like him. Like, yeah, he finally wrestled, but are people gonna care? That's the question. He pissed so many people off, including myself, for trolling us, delaying his debut till now. So who knows if Fandango's going to finally get momentum. But of course, Jericho tried his best, and of course had some momentum. And of course, Fandango did do his big scissors move once or twice. But he was going for it again later on. The ending came with he was trying to nail the big move again. But Jericho ducked out of it. He was ready to get the lion salt on him. And about it, I didn't mention this. I mentioned about the fans. I heard some "Let's Go Ambrose" chants during the Shield match. So there was some pro Shield fans. They were happy they won. But the ending of Jericho Fandango. Jericho's trying to nail the lion salt. He kind of missed it. He kind of buckled his knee a bit and went to nail the walls of Jericho. He was trying to lock it in, but his knee was kind of banged up after that missed landing on the lion salt. And with his knee locked, Fandango got the wall up. 1, 2, 3. Kind of a cheap victory with that cheap wall up after Jericho's attempt at the walls of Jericho failed after Jericho banged his knee. So anyway, Fandango gets the victory. Yes, Fandango debuts at WrestleMania and wins. Wins his debut match, but really keep up momentum. Like I said, he physically killed up any momentum of his character having big success because of his debut being delayed so much with his playing and teasing the crowd with the "Say My Name." So there you go with that. The victory for Chris Jericho, not Fandango. Fandango. 2.0 out of 5. It was just okay matchup for me. This one pay-per-view kind of went down a bit. This half, the first half was kind of a slow first half. Kind of took a lot of time for me to pick up, especially after the next match I'm about to review. So we have our next match, which before that we had, of course, mentioned Bitch Diddy coming out to perform. And of course he did like a medley of like More Money, More Problems. But the Benjamins, of course, coming home to end it. Now, like I said, I thought Dave was going to his ass boot. I've said this before. I'm a music guy, but unless they're performing a theme for a superstar like Living Color did for Punk, I'll get to that when I talk about Taker's Punk match. If you're just there just to be there, it doesn't belong. Like Diddy, I'm surprised, like I said in the beginning of the video, I'm just stunned that Donald Trump got booed when he came out for the Hall of Fame, yet Diddy didn't get booed. Why did Diddy not get booed? Bullshit. You know what I mean? I'm surprised Diddy didn't get booed. Diddy should have been booed. Because he should have been there. You know, I like him that much, but he doesn't belong in Mania. He's just there just to be there. You know, just because, oh, Bitch Diddy. You know? So there you go. Bitch Diddy performance. Bathroom break. Psst. Like I said, it's stupid that you had B. Diddy on the pay-per-view, yet you cut the IC title match on the main card. And Mick Foley's now in the Hall of Fame on TV. That's WWE for you. Speaking of, that's WWE for you. On with our next matchup, which was for the World Heavyweight Championship. Jack Swagger with, of course, Zap Coulter. Their entrance got cut. Like they wore it on an SUV, but it got cut because the promo was on. Taking on Alberto Del Rio. Now, we all thought that a certain briefcase was going to get cashed tonight. Unfortunately, typical WWE, like I've said before many times, typical WWE, not wanting to make it exciting, did not have a cash-in. Swagger did not win. Alberto Del Rio got the victory. The match itself was okay. I knew that Ricardo and Zeb was going to get involved in the match. They did. They get involved, especially in the ending with Ricardo almost getting nailed with a crutch by Zeb. But Del Rio even stopped on Zeb's head at one point. And it was an okay kind of match. Swagger had momentum at the beginning of the match. Well, actually, Blue had momentum. And then Swagger came back. And the counters of the lock and the cross, that was a decent spot with the reversals, kept reversing the cross arm breaker and the Patriot lock. Like that, like they had the Patriot lock, Jack had the Patriot lock, then Alberto reversed it to the cross arm breaker, then Swagger reversed it back to the cross arm breaker. We saw a lot of reversals tonight. In the World title match, the WWE title match, and the next match, Taker Punk. We saw a lot of reversals. Like Swagger countering out of the cross arm breaker to the Patriot lock and vice versa. And of course, at the Mania's attempts, Swagger got the tap out of the cross arm breaker. And Alberto gets the victory. I thought Swagger was going to win and Ziggler was going to cash in. But I thought no matter who won, Ziggler was going to cash in. But unfortunately, Ziggler did not cash in. Come on, Ziggler. Are you ever going to cash that fucker in? I know you got till July, but it would have been epic for you to at least have Big E attack Alberto after the match, and then you cash in. I thought, like, when Alberto won, I was like, come on. Somebody attack him. We want to cash in. But no, it didn't happen. So there you go. Another 2.0 match for me, for Alberto and Jack Swagger. Now, on to what is going to be argued by a lot of people, but not argued a lot, but arguably everyone's opinion is going to be the same almost. The match of the night. The match that almost single-handedly saved the entire fucking pay-per-view. The match that I knew, the entire world knew, was going to steal the show. Undertaker versus CM Punk. 20-0 on the line. Now, I mentioned, of course, Diddy performed. If you're just there just to be there, stupid. But if you're there to perform a theme song for a wrestler like Living Colour did, that's acceptable. And Living Colour did a great job. Great, badass performance. Of course, the personality to send Punk to the ring. And of course, Taker came out with hands coming out from the grave, like kind of like a cool little entrance. I've seen Taker's entrances in the past, and they've all been goosebump filled. And this was just an okay entrance compared to Taker's entrances in the past. But the match itself, it was epic. Great match. Very epic. It was a slow start, but I think when it really picked up, especially after Punk delivered the elbow. Now I gotta mention that, like Punk nailed Taker with the elbow off the top rope to the Spanish announce table. And the Spanish announce table did not give an inch. Although during our next match, it did break. That was kind of a weird thing. Punk didn't break it, but Triple H and Lesnar did break it. But anyway, there was so many great spots in that match. There was great counters. It was just an intense fight. It was just emotional matchup. Very grueling matchup. Punk gave everything he had. He, of course, did old school, not once but twice, because Taker tried doing old school early on in the match, but Punk countered out of that and did his own version of old school. And he even did the, oh my God, Punk's face when he did the classic. It was like that, the face was just crazy when he did that, And the ending came, but before I get to the ending, like I said, there was a lot of great, they even went for both their submissions. By the way, something else I didn't forget to mention, and I cannot believe I forgot to mention during the WWE Tag Team title match, Dolph Ziggler kind of kissed AJ, kind of reminiscent of the Daniel Bryan 18 seconds. And I thought Dolph Ziggler was going to lose in 18 seconds because he kissed AJ and walked into a kick from Daniel Bryan. And Ziggler kicked out. It almost felt like deja vu all over again that Ziggler was going to get the kiss of death of AJ this time and not Daniel Bryan. Forgot to mention that during that match. I should have remembered. So back to Taker Punk. They did all the submissions, even at the Hell's Gate, which kind of like reminisced of the infamous screw job during Breaking Point 2009, when Taker had Punk in the Hell's Gate, but Punk never tapped out, and they screwed Taker, and then even Punk had the vice on him at one point too. It's just Very intense, and Punk nailed them with a lot of, I think there's a lot of GTS attempts, and it was just crazy match. Very intense. Went for the snake eyes, Taker went for all his big moves. He tried to go for the flying move, but it never happened. And there was one moment during the match, like Punk, the referee was knocked down at one point, and Taker was going for the last ride, and Paul Heyman gave Punk the on, and Punk nailed Taker with the back of the head with the on. If it ended that way, that would be kind of a shitty way to end, though. I wanted Punk to secretly win, kind of, to make it 20-1, but to have a win by nailing Taker on the back of the head with the on, that would have been the ultimate insult. The on and all, you know. But despite that little close call from Punk, then he came and Punk and Taker were reversing tombstones. Like, Punk was trying to deliver the tombstone. The Taker reversed it. Punk reversed it. Like, I've seen this reverse on the tombstone many times. Like, one guy was going for the tombstone, then reverse it. And, of course, Taker finally got it his way. He finally did a tombstone. I think he did, like, at least 2 or 3 tombstones. And finally put the nail on Punk's coffin. 1, 2, 3. Taker wins 21-0. I know a lot of people are going to be mixed about Taker winning and not Punk winning, making it 20-1. You know, I think many people, including myself, kind of thought Punk had a chance, but indeed, Taker's streak retains. So who knows? Maybe Cena will take Taker on next year and end the streak. If that happens, that'd be fucking stupid. So anyway, 4.0 for me. Best match tonight. It was very intense, very emotional matchup, very grueling. It was a match I knew it was going to be an epic matchup, and basically, single-handedly, almost saved the pay-per-view. So there you go. Taker retains the streak. Now, I think this was a stupid choice. I know they cut the mixed tag match, but to have Triple H and Brock Lesnar go right after Taker and Punk, bad move. Because everyone was just tired. The emotions were drained out of that crowd. The crowd was 50-50. It was like, Undertaker, CM Punk. So there's a lot of mixed emotions during the match. A lot of there was split 50-50 with the crowd. So the crowd was emotionally drained. It kind of reminded me of Rocket Hogan. When I was at Rocket Hogan, we were all emotionally drained out of that match. We were done. You know, I don't even remember anything after Rocket Hogan. You know, it was like before Rocket Hogan and after Rocket Hogan for me. Because after Rocket Hogan, I remember nothing else about that Mania because I was just tired out. And that's what happened with this situation. Right after Taker Punk, just an emotional, draining match, we had Triple H and Brock Lesnar. Now, I really thought this match was going to be an improvement. I was kind of moaning about the match because it was after SummerSlam, and the SummerSlam match sucked. I was trying to give it a shot, but unfortunately, it was almost as bad as the SummerSlam match. Even with the no-holds-barred situation, it still sucked. Probably one of Triple H's worst Mania matches since his match against Randy Orton. It was kind of a boring match. You know, it's kind of a lot of slow, kind of a lull. You know, it's not a lot of there was a lot of time. There was not a lot of action. It was like the Michigan game against the Michigan's game on Saturday against, I forgot who the team was. But Michigan's, there was a drought for Michigan. They couldn't shoot any points for 4 minutes. It felt like they were waiting for Triple H and Lesnar. There was at least 4 or 5 minutes that there wasn't a lot of action going on. It was 2 minutes of action, then 4 minutes building up to the next action. It was kind of a slow building matchup. There was a couple of funny things and cool things. When Triple H came out, he had the same entrance he's used for the last 2 years, that big giant head. He's used that same entrance for the last 2 years, and he was coming out of it, and the smoke come out of it. The foam from the smoke kind of landing on Triple H's chest. That was kind of funny, the foam was on. That was kind of funny. It looked like he was smoking cocaine or something with white stuff all over his chest. That was kind of funny. And I mentioned that when Punk delivered the elbow and the tanker on the Spanish announce table, it didn't break. Yet when Brock Lesnar slammed Triple H on the table, it broke? That's kind of stupid. That Punk didn't break it, but Brock Lesnar did. But Lesnar was kind of aggressive during this match. He was, once again, the ass kicker. You know, he was beating the crap out of Triple H. He even got to F5 Shawn Michaels, who was, of course, at ringside. And Shawn was trying to super sweet chin music Paul Heyman. That's what led to Brock Lesnar F-ing Shawn Michaels and F-ing Triple H. Probably one of the only really decent spot in the match was when Triple H was going for the Kimura lock after Brock Lesnar went for it, and then Brock Lesnar powered out of it every time. Yet Triple H got it back on because Lesnar was too tired to get back up before Triple H was able to put it on again. But the match was way too fucking long. Like I said, they cut the match. I think that's why they had to cut the mixed tag match, good or bad. Just that Triple H and Lesnar match was probably longer than I thought it was going to be. It just felt like it was lasting forever. You know what I mean? I think Punk and Taker got a good 25 minutes. This felt like a 45-minute match between Brock and Triple H. And with a little help from Shawn Michaels, switching music Heyman, distracting Heyman from getting involved, Triple H got the pedigree. Another good spot was the ending when Triple H got to nail the pedigree on the steel steps. 1, 2, 3, Triple H keeps his career. Even though he's not going to wrestle much, probably. 2.2. It was just okay. The last half of the match was actually pretty decent. It was kind of like near fall to near fall. And of course the counters and the submission attempt and stuff. But didn't make up for the fact that the early half of the match kind of sucked. And I knew this match was going to suck, and it did. It was kind of exciting, but not as much. Like, it was almost better than the SummerSlam match, but they ain't saying much. So there you go. Triple H keeps his career. Well, happen with what's next for Lesnar? Who knows what's going to happen with Lesnar now? Now, with the mixed tag match cut on to the main event of the evening for the WWE Championship, The Rock defending, of course, against John Cena. This is probably the loudest boos I've ever heard Cena outside of Chicago. He got his ass booed out the fucking building, and he deserved it. It was basically poor Rock, you know? Like, especially every time, like, Cena had to do, like, everything. Like, both guys had a lot of things to prove to themselves. Rock wanted to prove they want to beat Cena again. And Cena wanted, of course, redemption after losing to Rock last year. You know? And all these, they had to give it all they had. Like, how many FUs did Cena do? He did a lot of FUs. He tried the Final Uncle Shuffle how many times? Same with Rock. And even both Rock and Cena, once again, did each other's moves. You know, Cena did the Rock Bottom. Rock even did the, well, he was kind of doing the Final Uncle Shuffle, doing a people's elbow. The first half of the match was kind of a slow builder, but the second half, actually pretty exciting. Not as good as their match last year, but the second half of the match was probably the best half. It was just intense with counter, like I mentioned, Rock and Cena countering each other. Like every time Rock went for Rock Bottom, Cena countered with the FU. That kind of got boring after a while, that same spot. Like every time Rock and Cena tried for the finisher, the other guy would counter out of it. It was kind of cool, but it kind of got old after a while. You know, it was like every time the Rock went for Rock Bottom, Cena countered. Cena went for an FU. Rock counted. It kind of got old after a while. And every time they did get the move on him, and it seemed like it was over, there was a lot of moments I thought it was going to be over. Like, I really thought after a couple of FUs from Cena, it was over. And after a couple of Rock Bottoms from Cena, I mean, from Rock, even a people's elbow from the Rock, I thought it was over. And I thought during one point in the match, the closest thing to Cena turning heel was near towards the end of the match. Cena almost made the same mistake again. He was going for the people's elbow. He was like, he took off his wrist. He was like facing the crowd like, you know, I think he was like saying, fuck you, crowd, in his own way of doing the Rock Bottom. He kind of sucked with the Rock in. And he was going for the people's elbow. Rock got back up and Cena did the you can't see me, then got the FU. I thought it was over, but Rock kicked out. Like, how many FUs did Cena do? I think Cena did at least 7 or 8 FUs, man. It was like neither guy would give. But finally, there was the one FU that finally sealed it. And unfortunately, to my dismay, we have a new WWE champion in John Cena. Now, this match, I knew the match was not going to be as good as not good as the first match, and it wasn't as good as last year, but it was decent. The last half was very exciting, though. I'll say this, though. Wasn't as good as Punky Taker, way better than Triple H and Lesnar, though. Rock and Cena was better than Triple H and Lesnar, but I ain't saying much, though. But have me wanted Cena to lose, have me want him to win. I hate Cena to death, I want him to lose. But I wanted a full-time WWE champion again. That's the only good thing about Cena winning. Is that Cena will... The good news and the bad news about Cena winning. The good news is we have a full-time WWE champion again. A guy who's going to be on Raw every week. The bad news is they're probably going to be a rubber match at WrestleMania 30. It's probably going to be Rock Cena 3. I would not be fucking surprised because they're like, oh, it's tied 1-1. Cena 1-1. Rock 1-1. Rubber match. WrestleMania 3. WrestleMania 30. Rock Cena 3. We promised the last fucking time. And then the other moment I really thought Cena was going to finally turn here was the end. Cena had the belt, and he was face-to-face with The Rock with the belt, and I was like, nail him! Come on, Cena, embrace the fucking hate! But Rock and Cena pulled a Daniel Bryan and Kane. They hugged it out! Yes, Rock and Cena hugged. That's the difference between last year and this year. Last year was so personal, especially in the promos and disrespect for each other, but they hugged it this year. I really thought Cena was going to nail Rock with the belt, but like I mentioned, when WWE has the chance to do something really exciting, they fucking blow it. We thought Shawn Michaels was going to screw Triple H. That didn't happen. We thought Ziggler was going to cash in on Swagger or Alberto. That didn't happen. And once we finally thought Cena was going to turn heel, no, WWE doesn't have the balls to do anything shocking. Mostly predictable. Like, at the end, we knew Taker was going to win on Punk, even though the match was great. And same with Cena Rock. You know, Cena won, predictable. I'll give this match 3.0. Just because it was exciting, the second half was exciting. Not as good as last year, but better than Triple H and Lesnar for sure. I think I gave Lesnar and Triple H a 2.0 for their match. Actually, I think Lesnar and Triple H, I'll give that match about a 2.0 or 2.2 for Lesnar and Triple H. So that's it. Mania, kind of a mixed bag tonight. I think we all knew it was going to be a mixed bag because the hype wasn't that good. So we'll see about WrestleMania 30, but it'll be better on April 6th, 2014 in New Orleans. Especially if Rock Cena 3 happens, which I am doubting. So I'm guessing it will. And even Rock, after the match, Rock laughed, hugged everybody. He's like, basically was saying, goodbye, everybody, I'm leaving again to make another fucking movie. But it may not be the case because I'm hearing Rock may show up at Extreme Rules. Because Punk may leave because of recovering from injury. If Punk does leave, he needs to leave bad. His momentum shifted down. And have Punk have a break from Punk would be great. If Punk does take a break after this. So there you go. That's my WrestleMania 29 review. Thank you all very much for watching. With that in mind, you've all been attacked by the review. From Zach. Have a great night, everybody. See you later. Yeah.